Growing up, life was just difficult because of a lot of choices that my mom made. She was bipolar. It was just a volcano of you didn't know what was going to erupt. We went through a lot of boyfriends and divorces with her. When one relationship didn't work out, we were uprooted, moved to somewhere else. So there was a lot of instability. We were very unprotected as children. Drinking was very common at a very young age. I was molested by one of her boyfriends. They did ignorant things. I mean, my older sister and I were forced to fist fight each other. And they stood there and watched. And in their mind, they wanted you to be well prepared to care for yourself. It was just very dysfunctional. And you think that that's normal. As a child, you're so forgiving because all you want is to be loved. And so you're constantly searching for that love because nothing else around you makes sense. And I think all of my life growing up looking at her, I wanted to say, why am I not good enough to love? Why can you not love me? In my mind, I always said that I've forgiven her. But in the long run, I still kept her on my hook. When she was in my presence, I found myself not being nice to her, pointing out her shortcomings, constantly wanting her to affirm me that I was better than her. I felt like I put myself in a place of being her punisher. I wanted her so badly to ask for my forgiveness. I felt that I deserved that. I deserved for her to take responsibility for her baggage that left its mark on us. That's when you realize that that's not coming from God, that's coming from Satan whispering in your ear to continue to punish them. And I think when you harbor unforgiveness, it will come out of you in whatever way, and mine was probably anger. What I learned is that she wasn't the problem. I was the problem. I was my own problem because I was not doing what I was called to do. I was not forgiving her. I was not forgiving others, and I lacked a compassion. It makes a difference when your child says to you, "You're not very nice to Grandma Susie." And that was really hard to hear. And then my husband too, pointed out that it was almost a change of personality, being in her presence. My greatest strive when having children was to raise them differently. But when I would lose self-control or the anger would rear its ugly head, when triggered, it's a very ugly thing. And so I found myself just attacking. And my biggest regret would probably be teaching my children to be angry, because that's the way I responded to them. To harbor unforgiveness creates sin, and it will manifest and come out, and the saddest part is seeing it come through your children, something that you so desperately wanted to protect. But the true restoration came when I took responsibility for my own sin and quit looking at hers. So, in all of that, I get to learn to ask my children for forgiveness. And not only ask for their forgiveness, but to be specific of where I harmed them. And so there's a process of just finding those pivotal things that I was holding on to, what I was punishing her for. And not that she ever asked for my forgiveness, because it was never going to come. And it probably will never come. But I had to choose to forgive her, to take her off of my hook and put her on God's hook. So many times when you take things that have happened to you and you continue to sit as a victim, but there is victory and there's also survival mode, or where you're a survivor of your circumstances, and that's through Christ. That's a gift from God. I do know that if I keep doing what I have done in the past, if I do that to her, I am no light to her. I am just keeping her in the darkness, and I could initially push her away from Christ. If I call myself a Christian, a Christ follower, then I am showing her the opposite of what she actually needs. And so where I'm at today, I am blessed. I am blessed, but I am also blessed from every one of those, if you want to call it a tragedy, if you want to call it dysfunction, I am blessed in that.